Hello, welcome to Yoga for Boomers and Beyond. I'm your host, Nancy Boyle. My intention in bringing this program to you is to share the health benefits of a regular yoga practice by teaching methods of breathing and moving to improve strength, flexibility, and balance in the body, and to teach relaxation techniques that calm the mind and quiet the nervous system. We practice on or next to a chair to make poses accessible for individuals with physical limitations or people recovering from illness or injury who might need to find an alternative to traditional practice on a mat. Today's episode will be focusing on stretching and strengthening the muscles that support hip function. Our hips play a vital role in our mobility and stability, particularly as we age. Tight hips can affect the way we walk, compromising our gait, our posture, our balance. And tight hips can also lead to low back and knee pain as the body works to compensate for the restriction in the hips. Sitting, which we tend to do a lot more as we age, impacts hip mobility dramatically. It weakens the glutes, the gluteus maximus we all know as our butt muscles, and the gluteus minimus and medius support the sides of our hips. It also shortens the hip flexors, most importantly the iliopsoas, vital in walking, climbing stairs, and getting up and down from a chair. Both our glutes and our hip flexors figure prominently in the activation of your hips, so when they're weak or inactive, the low back takes over, resulting in strain or pain in that area of the body. And when we have pain or discomfort in our low back or in our knees, we tend not to move as much. We sit more. So the cycle continues. It hurts to move, so we sit. The more we sit, the more it hurts to move. And things just keep getting worse. So today, we're going to start to break that cycle as we'll work on stretching and strengthening the muscles around the hips to keep you moving. So let's get started. So as always, we'll start the practice just finding a nice centering breath, just bringing ourselves to be fully present with the practice. So find a nice comfortable seat in your chair with the feet on the ground, knees over the ankles and shoulders over the hips. Roll the shoulders up and back and then just relax them down. Keep extending the crown of the head up towards the ceiling and close your eyes. So as we become centered, one of the best tools to center ourselves is to become the witness of our own breath. So with the eyes closed, breathing in and out through the nose, just begin to notice how the breath feels in your body. So notice perhaps whether it's choppy, maybe it's nice and smooth, and that's great. But if you feel that it's a little choppy or shallow, see if you can bring the breath deep into the lowest lobes of the lungs, down right into the belly, and then move it up into the low ribs and up into the top of the chest. Perhaps noticing a natural pause at the top of the breath, and then letting the breath go from the top down. It's much like filling a balloon up. As you blow into the balloon, it fills up from the bottom up, and as you let the air out, the air leaves from the top down. And as the breath completely leaves, see if you can draw your navel in just a little bit to give a little extra squeeze to get rid of all the toxins and the carbon dioxide. Most of us, when we're stressed or upset, rushed, we tend to breathe in a very shallow way. So this nice deep belly breath is soothing and calming. And it helps to quiet our minds, which can be so busy these days. So as you rest your awareness on your breath, just let the other thoughts that might drift in, just let them move past. And keep all your awareness on the breath. One more nice deep breath in, and then sigh it out through your mouth. Let all the tension go. And we'll begin our movements today, just warming up all the parts of the body, moving the spine in all of its directions. So we're going to begin by inhaling the arms up overhead and taking the left hand, wrapping it around the right wrist. Reach nice and tall, draw the belly in, soften the shoulders away from the ears, and then take a little lean to your left. A nice stretch through the right intercostal muscles here. Even a little tiny touch of a hip flexor. This hip flexor right here might feel a little stretch as you move into this movement. Inhale up and then change sides. Take a little lean to the right. Just reaching the fingertips to the wall on the right. And then coming back up and releasing the arms down. Take the right hand on the left thigh and the left hand behind the left hip. Find length in the spine, and on your exhale, take a twist. So as you take a twist, keep the navel drawn slightly in, and the chin can stay centered right in the center of the chest, or if your neck is ready for the movement, you can just look over that left shoulder. Couple of breaths in this twist, just noticing where the stiffness or tightness might be. And then bringing yourself through center and coming to the other side. Nice breath in and out. And then coming back to center. We'll bring our hands right to our thighs. On an inhale, lean slightly forward and lift the heart, draw the shoulders back. And on the exhale, tuck the chin round the upper back as you straighten the arms. So we're undulating the spine, bringing a nice little cat-cow movement, as we call it, into the spine, encouraging the flow of spinal fluid. And then coming to stillness here, still sitting nice and tall. Bring your feet a little wider apart, maybe as wide as the legs of the chair. And we'll just begin to start warming up those hips. So we're going to do big circles with our torso. About 5 or 6 circles in one direction. And then moving in the other direction. And then coming to stillness, sitting nice and tall, walking your feet back so that they're right in line with these little hip points in the front of your body. Take your left leg up and hug the knee into your chest, and then let it down. So we're just going to begin to warm up the hip now as we hug the knee in, and then let it down. One more squeeze. We're going to hold on this squeeze. A nice little squeeze, a nice lengthener in the low back. You might feel a nice lengthening happening in the low back around the left glutes, the buttocks on the left side. And then flex the foot and bring the ankle to the thigh. Now we're all going to look a little different in this posture. If you have really tight hips, you might look more like this. So wherever the leg happens to fall, that's fine. Keep the foot flexed on top and let the spine stay nice and long. So resting your hands on your shin, lifting your heart, getting nice and long in the spine. If it's available to you, just take a little lean forward. So it might be a micro move. We want to keep the spine long though, so try not to round. You want to keep nice and tall as the heart reaches forward and the spine stays long and straight. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. So this might be felt most intently in the outer left hip. I like to imagine that my hip is a balloon, and as I breathe in, I fill that balloon with space, with breath. And then as I exhale, that breath leaves, the muscles soften, everything kind of relaxes, and perhaps a little more movement forward, maybe not. But depending upon how stiff or tight you are through the hips, that's going to limit your movement, and that's okay. Yoga slowly over time helps us open up, rebalance the body. But we have to be patient. Can't force it. When we force it, we usually cause injury. So on your next inhale, come up. And then we're simply going to take our knee and we're going to bring the knee up and down. Just a little bit of pumping here, gently moving up and down. About 5 times. And then release that foot and bring it down. We'll do the other side. So we'll start with a little hug with our right leg into our chest. Nice stretch through the low back, right buttocks. Then let that foot come down. Bring it back up, give it a nice squeeze. And then bring it down. One more squeeze and hold, so keep it in there. And then flex that foot, bring that ankle on to your thigh. Keeping that foot flexed, and just gently guiding the leg down. Just let it kind of fall down towards the floor as much as you can. Again, you might be up here on this side, maybe you were lower on the other. So this is where we explore where we're tight. We're often tighter on one side than the other. So bringing the hands onto the shin, nice tall spine. Take a nice breath in, and on your exhale, take a little lean. You're going to just deepen that stretch. You'll feel it. Don't want any pain though. So we never want to move towards pain in yoga. It can certainly feel a little challenging. Maybe a little tight, a little sore, but never pain. So if you feel pain, just back out a little bit. So a few breaths here, filling that right hip this time with that space as if it's a balloon, creating that space and then letting it all go, letting the muscles relax. Our muscles have memory, you know, and sometimes they forget how to relax. So they remember how to be tense if we tense them up all the time, and then they forget how to relax. So yoga helps us to bring our awareness to those places, and our breath helps us to relax the muscles. And then coming back up to vertical, we're just simply going to take hold of the knee. You're going to bring the knee up and down, just moving it. So our hip joint is a ball and socket, so it has a great range of motion when it's healthy. But because we sit so much in our lives these days, especially as we get older, a lot of us sit more than we used to, our hip flexors get very, very tight. And so that limits our mobility. It can even change the way we walk, the way our gait presents itself. So it's really good to keep these muscles healthy, limber, and strong. So we're going to work on a little bit of strength here in the muscles. And we're going to do some, I suppose you could call them squats. We're going to come up off the chair and sit down. And we're going to go for a round of 20. And you can do it in a couple of ways. First, you want to keep your feet underneath your knees, maybe a little bit behind. You want to feel really stable. You don't want any pain in your knees when we do this. And you can keep your arms down by your sides and help with a little momentum to stand up, or you can hold on opposite hand to opposite shoulder. It makes it a little bit more challenging. Draw the belly in and keep the spine nice and long. So we're going to stand up and sit down 20 times. And if you get tired along the way, just take a break, just sit down, rest, and pick it up again if and when you are ready. And over time, you'll just get stronger. So here we go. We're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Have a little seat, rest your hands on your lap, take a nice breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. That's a workout. Then bring the arms down by your sides, come all the way up as you stand up. We're going to do that nice little side bend again. So take your left hand on your right wrist, wrap that wrist with your fingers on the left, and just take a little lean. Inhale back up, switch sides, and take a little lean to the other side. So you might feel this stretch now right through the hip flexor as well, through the side of your hip as well. And then come back up and bring the arms down by your sides. Nice. So we're going to move to the use of the chair. We'll start with the chair the tall side behind us. And we're simply going to work on strengthening these muscles on the outer side of the hips. So these are the medius and minimus gluteus muscles. They help us stand tall. They help us be strong. And you want your hips not only to be flexible, but you want them to be strong as well. Because if you're too loosey-goosey, that's not good. If you're too muscular, that's not good either. So we're trying to find that balance in this practice. So we're going to take the left leg out to the side, toes pointing forward, and we're going to do it 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, any higher, 2, 1. And then we're going to do the other side. I guess I'll move this chair to the other side. You might want to do the same, or just simply turn around. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll hold on the 6th one for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that foot down. You might feel a little bit of burning. A nice way to let that loose is to simply do a little bit of a bending and twisting, almost like you're skiing down a hill, just letting your hips move from side to side. A nice little stretch in that low back, that buttocks. Great. And so now we are going to do a posture that's going to help the back of the hip joint, and it's also going to help lengthen the psoas muscle, this great big hip flexor in the front. So facing the chair with the seat facing you, just take your right foot up onto the chair. So find your balance, find your posture nice and tall. And what we're going to do here is we're going to walk the foot forward and lean forward. So we're going to get a nice stretch through this left hip flexor. The knee of this lifted leg is over the ankle. So a nice little stretch here. Spine stays long and tall. And we're just holding in these stretches a wee bit, just allowing the muscles to get that nice stretch. And now we're going to come back and straighten that leg. Toes will point up. And keeping a nice long spine, again, not rounding, trying to keep that spine long. We're going to reach the sternum towards the big toe. So you're going to feel this right through the back, right where that hamstring meets the pelvis hair, right at that back of the hip. And breathe here, keeping the spine long. Neck can relax. You might want to hold the chair if you like, or your leg. If you want to get a little stretch through this IT band, you may turn your toes slightly out to the side. That's going to really get into that IT band. And then turning the toes forward, coming back up and stepping that foot down. And we'll go to the other side. So here we are. The foot is on the chair, nice and stable. Take a little walk forward. So you're just going to lean forward, getting a nice stretch in this right hip flexor now. Knee is over the ankle here. And the spine is nice and long. So go as deep as you can comfortably go. Just feeling this psoas muscle, this muscle that comes down from the lumbar spine across the top of the hip and right to the top of the femur. It's one of the biggest, most powerful hip flexors that we have. And it can get really tight. So we want to keep it lengthened. We want to keep it strong as well. So then we're going to come back, come onto the heel, lift the toes, get nice length in the spine. Once again, reach that heart towards the toes. You can hold on to the chair or to your leg. And breathe here. Excuse me. And then maybe turn those toes out slightly till you feel that nice deep stretch in the IT band. And bring the foot back to center and step out. Good job. So we're going to work a little bit on our balance. And at the same time, we'll be strengthening this hip flexor. So we're going to come onto our left foot and bring the right toes up. Maybe you bring it up so that the knee is the same height as the hip. So we're going to stay tall here, working this muscle in the front of the hip. Bring your hands to your heart. Nice. And then if it's available to you, maybe you bring your arms out to the side. Bring one arm to the center, and then bring that arm out. Bring the other arm to the center, and bring it out. Bring both arms to the center, and bring them back out. Woo, it gets a little harder. And then bring that foot down. So a couple of things that help with the balance is to keep a nice long spine and an engaged core, and to keep your breath fluid, and also to find a dristi, something in front of you that doesn't move. So you'll notice that I'm staring down towards the floor. I'm focusing on a stable point that helps me keep upright. So we'll come to the right leg and lift that leg. Maybe it only comes a little way, and that's okay. Bring it up so that the knee is as high as the hip, if that's possible, and lengthen up through the right side. Find that dristi and connect to your breath. And then bring your hands to your heart. So a lot of the times balance is much easier for us on one side than the other. It's that normal imbalance in our body. So just notice where it might be for you. Bring your arms out to the side. Bring one arm in front. Whoop, this is my non-balancing side, so I'm going to touch the chair. Come back out. Whoa. Other arm in and out. Both arms in and out. And then bring that leg down. So when I'm standing on my right leg, that's where I have my challenge. So that's the side that I have to work more. So what was it for you? It's always fun to explore what side of the body we should work. We often go to the side that feels better, right? But that's not always the best thing to do. So we're going to find our way back to our chair. And just do a few sun salutations. I love to bring sun salutations into all of the practices because they help to work all the big muscles in the body. They get our whole body moving. They warm things up. Sometimes they get our heart beating just a little bit more quickly. So I'm going to have you bring your feet right about in front of these little hip points here once again. And on an inhale, bring the arms up overhead. On your exhale, come to cactus arms. And on your inhale, lean slightly forward. On your exhale, hands to the thighs, glide over the knees, down towards the ankles. Let the head traction the spine. On an inhale, come to your fingertips, lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, fold. On your inhale, sweep wide, come all the way up. And exhale the hands through the heart and back by your sides. Nice. We'll do 2 more rounds of this. Inhale up and exhale to cactus. Inhale, lean, and exhale, glide the hands across the knees down to the ankles. Let the head relax. Inhale, lengthen as the heart lifts and reaches forward. And on your exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms wide. Come all the way up. Exhale the hands through the heart and back by your sides. One more inhale to sweep up and exhale. Inhale, lean, and exhale, hands gliding down to the ankles, crown of the head releases towards the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and high, and exhale the hands to the heart. Nice job. And then coming to stillness. Once again, we'll do one more hip movement that helps to get us lubricating those hip joints. So bring your feet about as wide as the legs of the chair. And we're simply going to bring the knees over to the left and then bring them over to the right. So you want to sit on the edge of the chair, being stable but movable. And we're just bringing the hips from side to side. Just turning, a little swizzle, if you will, from side to side. One more, and another. Come coming back and walking the feet back together. So our final piece of the practice has to do with relaxation. We always do a little bit of Shavasana at the end of our practice. And so this is where we are able to quiet the nervous system, activate the parasympathetic nervous system that helps us to relax. So many of us are in this fight or flight mode all the time with information flying at us, decisions that have to be made. We're in this very rapid paced world. So when we can activate that parasympathetic nervous system, we can calm everything down. It actually helps to lower the blood pressure and to help slow the heart rate, to help quiet the mind. So find a nice relaxing place in your chair. And you can also do this on the floor. You can lay down on the mat if you like, lay down on a rug if you don't have a mat. And just find a place where you can let your back relax, melt into a mat or the chair. Extend your legs forward. Let your hands rest on your lap. Find a nice comfortable place for your head. Maybe your chin gently tucks. It's often nice to put a pillow behind you if you're in a chair, just so that you're supported. And if it's cool in your house, sometimes a nice blanket over you feels really good. So our goal in this posture is to surrender to gravity. And as you surrender to gravity, you allow all the muscles to soften and relax. So the toes, the feet and the ankles relax. And the muscles that wrap the bones and the legs melt from those bones as the legs become heavy. The low back and belly soften. The mid and upper back relax into the support of the mat or the chair. The fingers, the hands, and the wrists relax. Facial muscles soften. Even the scalp relaxes. The breath becomes quiet. So as you surrender the physical body to gravity and bring the awareness inward and upward into the space between your eyebrows, called in yoga the third eye. Resting your awareness in that place, perhaps today even imagining a candle flame. See if you can bring the vision of a flame into your mind's eye, right in the back of your eyelids. See if you can allow that light to grow. And if it starts to fade, that's okay. See if you can just notice that it's fading, and in your mind's eye, bring it back to a nice, beautiful glow. So as the body stills and the mind quiets, focusing in on that flame of the candle, allowing its light to just wash over your whole body. So many people believe that it is the most challenging posture of all, Shavasana. It's that quieting of the mind. Not easy for us most of the time. So it's in this stillness we practice letting thoughts go and focusing in today's practice on that flame, that little candle burning. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to your breath. Allow the breath to deepen. And bring some awareness back to the body by wiggling the toes, maybe wiggling the fingers, circling the ankles and the wrists. Just beginning to wake up the body from that nice resting posture. And then next breath in, bring your legs along, bring your arms overhead. Take a nice full body stretch. Nice full breath in and sigh it out. Bringing your hands to your heart, gazing down at the fingers. So our practice has ended. I hope you can take this sense of peace and relaxation out into your day, walking with some nice loose, some flexible hips, strong but flexible. Until next time, namaste.